Alright. So let's see how this is going to go now that I am sticking with my good old blood golem here as my main force. I may go back to the skeletons at some point, but also I put a better piece of gear on our merc friend here. But let's just say that right now I'm kind of thinking, you know what, let's just stick with my blood golem basically being, I don't know, a single death machine. I'm hoping he's now doing a lot more damage than he was before. So we'll see how it goes. He's doing damage, siphoning life, plus of course he's getting healed by the aura from the merc. So by the way, now we finally get to say this, welcome to hell. Though what's funny is when you look at this, it looks a little odd. Now, I will say, looking at how it is here in Diablo Resurrected, because I know some people that they were hoping that if they ever redid this game that they were going to make it look a little better. Because if you look at the whole area, it's very gray. Now, I kind of get what they're going for, kind of this lifeless kind of look to the place here. But there's really not that much to it when you think about it, especially if this is supposed to be, you know, hell. Doesn't really seem all that impressive, does it? The thing is, though, after having gone through, you know, Diablo 3 and Act 5, when we get to the Pandemonium Fortress area, this does look very much like how Act 5 in Diablo 3 does, doesn't it? When we're going through the battlefields of eternity. That whole big area, this looks very much like that, doesn't it? Plains of despair. Demon eats and spits corpses. Ew. A super healing potion. Champions. Yeah, so different variety of enemies here, obviously, because we're in hell. Well, so far, so good. My Merc and Golem don't really seem to be struggling that much, honestly. Their health bars are not really moving that much. I mean, I guess that probably should make sense, or should be expected. Woo! We'll just have to see how they do against a large number of enemies here, though. I would hope they're going to be fine. Although my Merc could be in a bit of trouble. I've got a couple of yellow pieces of armor on him. I just don't have a yellow weapon on him because I can't find a yellow spear. I don't even have one in my stash. But I will say, right now my blood golem is just taking them all on, and if you look at his health bar, it's not moving. So he is pretty much just dominating right now. And I kind of love that. You know what's one of the things I love about this blood golem build compared to the skeletons is the fact that I don't need corpses to summon the skeletons, or summon him. If he goes down, I can just immediately just summon him right back. It's one of the things I like about him over the iron golem. Because the iron golem, I need a piece of gear to summon him. Actually, I'm not sure what's the location area where Izual is. Huh, I thought I put that back in. I'll go back there in a moment once I find a waypoint. Oh gosh. My health bar, my poor health bar. That's okay, remember, when the blood golem is doing damage, he's also healing me. Which is pretty great. Yeah, I may end up just kind of like sticking with the blood golem Like, for the most part. Like, I may end up just, like, turning the Blood Golem into just a full-on, you know, death machine where he's just doing lots of damage and healing both of us from all the damage he's doing. Seems pretty tanky and pretty strong. Ooh, the City of the Damned. By the way, again, you don't have to do these in any order because remember, these quests are entirely optional. An Abyss Knight. Kind of keep my distance. And with the, you know, not just the whole thing with Blood Golem, but again, the fact that this Merc has this healing aura, so he's healing us. Oh gosh. Actually had to use a potion there. Of course, I'm not the one who's tanky, my Blood Golem is the one who's tanky. Super healing potions. It's just like Decker Kane in Here's the Storm. Take my super healing potion. This way, Golem. This is either where Izual is, this is an area where we summon Diablo, or this is where the Hellforge is. I'm guessing this is probably where the Hellforge is. So if we're here, we'll just go ahead and try to destroy Mephisto's Soulstone while we're here. You know, it's funny. This ends up being so pointless. You know? Like, think about it. Like, back then, we thought, oh man, looks like we're gonna be rid of him for good. Permanently. But, of course, we can't have anyone permanently die because, God forbid, we actually give us some kind of sense of actually accomplishing something with what we're doing here. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't like the whole they can never die or anything. I like it when we as characters can actually have some kind of a goal. Like, you know, that is our goal. Because otherwise, what's the point of what we're doing here? If we can't be able to find a way to permanently defeat these enemies in this war, then why are we even bothering? We're just temporarily inconveniencing them as opposed to being able to actually, you know, stop them. Because it really just then ends up feeling kind of pointless. The amount of enemies here reminds me very much of how it is in Act 5 of D3. I wish my Blood Golem in D3 was as strong as this one can be. Because you just summon him and he's just like, well, he's there. Same with the skeletons. It's like, well, they're there. I will say that's one thing I wish we could do in D3 that, you know, that we can do here, which is just keep making them stronger. The fact that you can just, you know, make this build where you can just make your golems just incredibly strong. It's something I wish, like, I could do in D3. I'm just finding tons of enemies, and oh gosh, oh gosh. Oh, my blood golem saved me. Did you see how much health he gave back to me that fast from his hits? The damage he's doing? Wow! His damage saved me there. Holy mackerel. I can't find this waypoint. I'm looking for the waypoint. Like, I have no idea where this waypoint is. And I'm just, like, kind of running around, just like, where is it? I just keep casting Bone Shield on myself. Just kind of give myself some kind of shield over my health. But then my blood golem is like, it's okay, boss, I got you. Just one hit of damage is going to keep you alive. Yeah, I have a feeling my skeletons would be going down really fast here. That's just my impression. Lots of gray. This is what I can imagine. Like, I think some people were kind of hoping for and expecting the way, like, hell looks in other games, like, say, God of War, where it's just, like, flames and such everywhere. Just a whole bunch of horrible-looking things. But it's just a lot of gray. Lots of stone and gray and... yeah. Just like, huh. I guess the Lords of Hell didn't really care about making their place all that interesting to look at. I guess that's just kind of my impression. Like, we're basically just kind of uncovering the map at this point. Because I'm just running around looking for the waypoint in this place, and I cannot seem to find it. A waypoint! Where are you? A waypoint, where are you? Oh gosh. Quick, blood golem, hit something! Good boy. How much XP I'm getting from these guys. Ooh. 2 runes just dropped. Wow. I'm hitting my dice rolls tonight, boys. My goodness. The search for the hidden waypoint. Remember, there's only 3 in this act, and I cannot find this one. There we go. Oh my gosh, I finally found it. Okay. What did I pick that up?
Hello.
Go ahead and sell that. All right. I didn't even see what could have been the Hellforge over there, so maybe I guess I just went the wrong way. Well, in that case, why don't we just go the opposite direction this time? This way. Oh, a champion Doom Knight. I'm looking at his health bar. It's barely moving. They're doing very little damage to him, and he is just siphoning health on every hit. These are against 2 champion units, and his health bar is barely moving. Look at that. It's moved a little bit. Whoops, whoops. Trying to hit the alt button, I hit the Windows button right here, right next to it. Whoopsie. I'll go ahead and just grab these. Just in case. Look, we're on our way to face the big man himself. So, I'm probably going to end up needing them. Ooh, resist poison. Wonderful. But yeah, whereas I've heard that Mephisto was probably arguably the easiest, Diablo is considered one of the more difficult and complex ones in the game. Like, he was the sprite that was probably worked on the most. He has numerous mechanics in his fight, which are all pretty strong. So we'll see how long my Blood Golem lasts against him. But yeah, Diablo was considered, of course, a really tough fight back in the day, which of course makes sense, because before Lord of Destruction came out, he of course was the final boss of the game, so he should be a really tough fight. You know, you usually want the last boss of your game to be a really difficult fight. Especially when, yes, his name is in the title, but let's just say I would be totally fine if in Diablo 4 he never makes an appearance. Maybe he will, but if they play up that, assuming that you have seen the advertisement for Diablo 4, especially the trailer from BlizzCon, if they end up playing up Lilith as if she is the big bad of that game, and we still end up having Diablo as the big bad final boss of that game, I'm gonna be upset. Like, you played up, you know, Lilith this whole time as the big bad of that game, and then you give it to Diablo again. Like, I get it, his name is in the title, but he doesn't, you know, you are restricting yourself so unnecessarily when you do that. There's no necessary reason to do that. You are putting such a restriction on yourself that's so unnecessary. Just because, I guess it was Brevik who first came up with it. I'm assuming it was Brevik. David Brevik. Just because Brevik was like, oh, that mountain has a cool name, I want to name a game after that. That doesn't mean we then have to have, you know, that character be the main focal point the whole time. I know there are some that are like, but how can you have a Diablo game without Diablo? Easily. Very easily. There's numerous things that you can do with that without having to focus on him. You know, it should be about the setting and the series, not about the character when he's not even that interesting. Like, seriously, Mephisto is actually the more interesting of all the Lords of Hell, compared to Diablo, who is just not. Like, they play up as if he's, like, this cunning trickster, but the thing is, they may tell us that, but we never actually see that. We never see it in action. They just talk about how smart he is, how clever and cunning he is, how great he is, but then we never actually see any of that. You play up your villain in this way, and then it turns out, no, that's not actually him, because we never see that from him. Like, honestly, I think if you want to get rid of this restriction, then just, I don't know, rename, you know, one of the games, like Diablo Sanctuary, or, you know, something like that. Because other games have been doing that rather than giving a number, like Diablo 4, they could give it Diablo and then call it something else. A subtitle to kind of emphasize what the game is going to be focusing on. Plenty of games have been doing that a lot lately. Like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed... oh gosh, what were some of those other ones called? But you guys get what I mean. Like, Brotherhood was not Assassin's Creed 2 or 3. It was Brotherhood, and then there was Assassin's Creed Revelations. Stuff like that. It's something that I think they could do with the Diablo series without having to restrict themselves to think that they have to focus on Diablo and have him be the big bad the whole time, when that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Alright, let's go back this way. Because, again, I feel like I'm just running around uncovering the map instead of actually finding what I need to find. Because I don't know which direction either Izual or the Hellforge are. Ooh. May have to go stash that away for another character. Well, looks like a dead end. No, that's not a pun, because we're in hell. At least it wasn't meant to be, but I guess it is now.
Greetings.
Saigon's Guard. Go and stash that away. Okay. My goodness, this is a huge map. This is just us just running around the map. Back in the Plains of Despair. Let's go this direction. Quick, blood golem, save me! Izual! My merc!
Save yourself.
Destroy the demon that holds Izual's soul. Alright, hold on. Boy, his health is moving slow. There we go. 8 seconds. Let's try this. This lasts 16 seconds. Let's do Iron Maiden again, because it seems like my Blood Golem doesn't really need it. Also, looks like he has Cold Enchant on his weapon, I guess. Because he is slowing down my Blood Golem. But my Blood Golem is holding his own. Alright, let's go back to Amplify Damage. Alright, there we go. Now his health is actually moving faster. My poor merc. Just kept dying. Ooh. Yeah, my blood golem. Look at his health bar. It's not even moving. It takes a while. That's why I guess the idea is if you build up these curses, they probably just take even more. Like if I was to say... Okay, so that just increases the radius. I'll bet as you level it up, it actually will increase the amount of damage they take, I'm guessing. It almost doesn't seem like he's doing that much damage. Again, let's try Iron Maiden again. See if maybe that'll actually cause him to do more damage to himself. We'll revive my merc later, don't worry. It cost me some gold, but it's worth it. Hopefully there's someone in this act that can let me revive him. Okay, this is important. I want you guys to really listen to this.
Tyrael was a fool to have trusted me. You see, it was I who told Diablo and his brothers about the Soul Stones and how to corrupt them. It was I who helped the Prime Evils mastermind their own exile to your world. The plan we set in motion so long ago cannot be stopped by any mortal agency. Hell itself is poised to spill forth into your world like a tidal wave of blood and nightmares. You and all your kind are doomed.
So, this was a big deal. This was one of the big twists of this story, the overall story, because remember, up until this point in time, it was believed that the Dark's Exile was an actual legit thing, that it was real. That whole war and revolution and exiling the three primevals to Sanctuary, that all happened like, just like there was nothing deceptive behind it or anything. Ignore the thunder behind me. The rain is still happening. But this is when we find out that it was actually all a plot. It was actually all orchestrated. And the fact that Izual, an angel, was the one who helped orchestrate it was also a big deal. Because this implied that this meant that some angels possibly could go against their programming, and that it's also possible that Izual, even an angel, was evil to begin with. Like, there's also the possibility that he could have been corrupted, or, forced to do this, or tortured, or eventually turned evil from being good. But the way he talks about that, it doesn't really give off that kind of vibe. It almost sounds as if this was his whole plan from the beginning. Now, remember, in Diablo 3, he comes back as a demon. He doesn't respawn as an angel, he respawns as a demon, even after this. Meaning that there was something possibly unique when it came to Izual. The fact that he would have been the one to actually help orchestrate the whole thing, to get in communications with the primevals like Mephisto and tell him about this as a way to be able to pull off what they wanted to do. Because up until this point, we thought this was all like, okay, they've been exiled, and now they're trying to pull off this plan of, we're going to try and get back together and then go back and get revenge. But this was all part of the plan. All this stuff that goes back to going back to Diablo 1 and all that, it was all part of the plan. Because of Izual. Which was, again, a huge twist back in the day. And we heard about Izual back in the first game, but again, up until this point, even as Tyrael was talking about him, gave off the vibe that Izual was this good angel who Tyrael trusted as his lieutenant, and, that he was eventually captured and tortured and corrupted by the demons. And yet here, we are now having the impression that instead... By the way, this is what he looked like back in the day. Zoomed in pixel. Pixel, pixel, pixel. This is what he looked like back in the day. That instead, he wasn't, and that none of that happened to him, that he wasn't corrupted or anything, that he was actually, that he willingly went to them and wanted to help orchestrate this whole downfall and trying to take down the heavens and the angels all on his own. Which is a big deal when you think about the way that the angels are created and programmed when they first spawn. It's one of the reasons why Malthael kind of snaps mentally when, later on, because of the programming that the angels have. Even Tyrael is kind of victim to some of his programming, but he kind of is able to deal with it better and is influenced by it more so because of his time here, and of course after he, gets rid of his wings, becomes mortal. But, yeah. Huge deal.
Tyrael was a fool to have trusted me. You see, it was I who told Diablo and his brothers about the Soul Stones and how to corrupt them. It was I who helped the Prime Evils mastermind their own exile to your world. The plan we set in motion so long ago cannot be stopped by any mortal agency. Hell itself is poised to spill forth into your world like a tidal wave of blood and nightmares. You...
Now, just as a reminder, if you're wondering why is that...
He squandered his infernal power.
If you're wondering why that's a big deal, it's because being able to take control of Sanctuary, which both the angels and demons have kind of agreed to sort of a Cold War hands-off thing, but being able to take control of that as kind of like their own territory is a big deal in their war against the angels.
Thank you, hero, for putting Izual's tortured spirit to rest. May the light protect you and the powers of heaven shine upon your path. But if what you tell me is true, then I fear that we have been played for fools all along. Izual helped Diablo and his brothers trick me into using the Soul Stones against them. Now the Stones' powers are corrupted. With the combined powers of the Soul Stones under their control, the Prime Evils will be able to turn the mortal world into a permanent outpost of hell.
Exactly. Okay, so Tyrael is the one who resurrects him. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Tyrael.
Thank you, hero. Long ago,
Good to see you. You're lucky to be alive, my friend. It is imperative that you find and stop Diablo. You should speak of this with Tyrael. He will know what to make of this.
So it looks like he gave me a couple of skill points. Thank you, Tyrael. I would increase his life even more, his attack rating even more, and his run and walk speed would stay the same, but... So yeah, it looks like it increases the radius of the cast of the curse, plus the duration by a few more seconds. So Iron Maiden then goes up to 14 seconds, 225% damage returned. Okay. Because I'm tempted to try out buffing amplified damage. But I also like the idea of just kind of making my blood column even stronger. 300% extra life and 375 more attack rating. So now he's even stronger. Alright. I need to find out where this Hellforge is.
What do you need?
Because this was probably very boring for you guys, just me running around hell just looking for where these things are. So I may just do that a bit more until I eventually find where the Hellforge is and find out where I need to go and what I need to do to find Diablo. So stay tuned.